Hey folks, let's talk about the fair cost of sex. You ever wonder how much sex should actually cost? I know, some of you are thinking, wait, you can put a price on that? Well, guess what? Everything's got a price tag these days. Even your grandmother's cookie recipe's got a copyright on it. Hell, she probably charges you to eat them too. Look, sex is supposed to be priceless, right? Like love and friendship, but that's just marketing, let's be honest. Sex always comes with a price tag. Some guys pay for hookers, some pay for dinner dates, some guys get married and spend the rest of their lives paying. And then there's the poor schmuck who gives his girlfriend free rent. Free rent! That's like paying someone to be your boss. So why do we pretend otherwise? Before you ladies get mad at me, I know not all women are like that. And man, you're not off the hook either. Some of you are just as sneaky, so let's call this tonight a thought experiment. I'm here to help you guys avoid being suckers. Now, some people say you can't put a price on sex because it's too important, too sacred. Bullshit. Let me tell you, they put a price on everything, even human life. Ever heard of life insurance? Or those government studies that figure out how much money to invest in a bridge or an airbag for a car? They gotta know if it's worth spending that cash to keep you from getting squished. So they do the math, cost-benefit analysis they call it, and they assume the average human life is worth about 10 million bucks. That's right, they slap a price tag on your entire existence so they can decide whether to build the thing that saves you or the thing that kills you. So if government can't put a price tag on you, I can sure as hell put one on a quick romp between the sheets. And let's not forget, sex isn't always sunshine and roses. In marriage, the sex usually dries up anyway. Now you're stuck feeding the cow, cleaning up after the cow, milking the cow, and then milking again because she kicked the bucket for not being attentive enough to her emotional needs. And you're still thirsty. And here's the kicker. Over time, the cow usually gets fat too. And you are left wondering why you even brought her home in the first place. If you loved milk and selling it was illegal, would you buy a cow and let her live in your house rent-free just so you could milk her whenever you want? Hell no, but that's exactly what a lot of guys do. They bring the whole damn cow home and call it a relationship. Then they wonder why the milk's dry and the feed bills never stop. So let's get down to it. I came up with a few attitudes, different ways to figure out fair price of sex. Think of it like ordering a steak, rare, medium, or well done. Same meat, different flavor. First attitude. What's the cost of the next best thing? A sex doll? About 2 grand. Let's assume for the sake of argument that it lasts a year within average use. That's around 100 sessions before it's time to trade it in for a newer model or patch it up with duct tape. That means each encounter costs you 20 bucks. Hey, at least the doll doesn't ghost you and it never sends you a fake positive pregnancy test to get you to pay for an abortion. Or maybe you go with beer. I'm not saying beer is the same as sex, but it's another way to get pleasure. The pleasure's weaker, but it lasts longer. Let's say it takes 6-pack to get that pleasure. A 6-pack costs around 10 bucks. Rich or poor, you pay the same price for beer. So why should sex be any different? Second attitude. How much of your income would you trade for sex? In 1820, a working man earned 300 bucks a year and paid about 25 bucks for 100 encounters. That's 10% of his income. In Amsterdam today, it's about the same, 10% of your salary. In the US today, 150 bucks an encounter. Now that's 30% of your income. Look, sex is a luxury, not a survival item. It shouldn't cost more than your rent. You shouldn't have to sell kidney to get a quickie. Third attitude. What's the fair pay for someone's time? Minimum wage sets the legal floor for any job. Let's assume $20 an hour. Add some overhead for rent, medical checks, contraceptions, and security, and you might get 40 to $50 per encounter. That's high estimate. In practice, a session could be shorter, and overhead costs could be lower. And honestly, even an accountant doesn't get that kind of respect for an hour's work. So why should sex bankrupt you? Fourth attitude. Let's talk supply and demand, because believe me, sex is a market, baby. Even in places where prostitution is legal, less than 1% of women choose that line of work. That's about as popular as Nickelback cover band. But even with that tiny supply, one woman could handle 200 guys a week. With breaks, of course. Gotta give her a break. If she's charged $20 a pop and kept half after overhead, she'd make around 50 grand a year. Which, by the way, is about what you'd earn at a minimum wage. So why the hell are some guys paying hundreds of dollars a session? That's like buying tap water at boutique prices. And remember what Warren Buffett said, price is what you pay, value is what you get. Buffett's no relationship counselor, but he knows when you're paying too much for the same old product. So ask yourself, are you paying for a fair deal or just getting fleeced for the same old routine? See, when supply meets demand in a fair market, the prices shouldn't bankrupt you. And if you're paying more than that, maybe you're getting milked too. Last attitude, the big one, liberty. They say liberty, a core value. You can vote, drive, run for office, but a consenting adult can't choose sex work? Give me a break. Governments worry about exploitation, but guess what? People are exploited every day. You think flipping burger at minimum wage isn't exploitation? And let's face it, no governments ever stopped people from getting what they want. Even the mighty US can't stop drugs from hitting the streets of New York. So what's the solution? Overthrow the governments? Nah, that's messy. Instead, just refuse to overpay. Set a price in your head and walk away when it gets too high. Like, hey, I'm worth more than that. I'm not paying designer prices for something that comes in standard issue. Designer prices for standard issue, that's the con they've been running on you since day one. And maybe, just maybe, once enough women realize they can't squeeze guy for every last dime, politics will change. Even if it doesn't, at least you didn't feel like a sucker. Look, whatever attitude you choose, just don't overpay. Don't follow the herd like a sheep. If you clicked this video, I assume you're smarter than that. Thanks for listening, and remember, love might be priceless, but sex definitely ain't. Good night.